Jane, how are you? Good to see you here.
Same.
I'm not sure if you can see me.
No, I can't see you, but that's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm Charmaine, registered and licensed dietitian, and I am here to talk to you today about mindful eating. Can anyone raise their hand or let me know if they are aware of what mindful eating is? Have you ever heard of the term? Well, mindful eating is a practice where people are trying to find more intuitive ways to eat. You're listening to your body. It's a very peaceful way of eating. So has anyone heard of the term mindfulness?
Yeah.
Like yoga.
Okay, great, great. Yes, mindfulness actually started with Buddhist, actually the Zen Buddhist who feel like there's a correct way to show up. There is a particular way that you should be always showing up and being present. So it's basically trying to find a more calm, peaceful way of life. So whenever you're mindfully eating, the goal is to eat in a calm environment. Even if you're not able to eat in a calm environment, there are several tips that I'd love to share with you. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Great. So today's objectives will be to define mindful eating, go ahead and discuss hunger cues and the scale that you should use, distractions and the speed of eating, and then senses and meditation. So mindfulness, we've already talked about what mindfulness means, but this helps people in the long run, because if you're battling with anxiety, depression, or even any chronic disease or pain, then this may actually help you not only resolve the issue, but at least decrease the amount of problem that's coming from that disease state. So for example, if you're someone that always finds yourself to be anxious, several people found themselves quite anxious during the pandemic because we're in the middle of a time where there's a lot of fear of unknown. So anxiety is when you're not living in the present. Mindfulness is about living in the present. So when you practice mindfulness in a meditative state, or even just to develop your spirituality, then you will see anxiety decline. So mindful eating, as we all know, we've mentioned it before, it's basically a behavioral changing method. And it's kind of centered in what dietitians practice, because we can talk to you about how to follow certain diets. We can talk to you about the body and physiology, but in the middle of all of that, we're always making sure that you understand how to listen to your body, how to understand the hunger cues, and really make sure that you are mindfully eating and being present when you're eating. So sensuality is important here because you are engaging all senses when you're consuming your foods. So let's talk about hunger cues. There are two hormones in the body that come into play specifically in reference to hunger. Okay, ghrelin, that's the more fast acting hormone. And what that does is it kind of causes that stomach rumbling that you feel whenever you're hungry. It lines the GI tract, but it's also, ghrelin is also in tissues of the pancreas, ovaries, adrenal cortex. And what it does is it lets you know that it's time to eat. So your body tells you different ways. There's different signals that your body gives you when it's time for you to have a meal, okay? Then there's leptin. It's pretty much an inverse relationship to ghrelin, but leptin, the hormone, actually sends a signal to your brain that it's time to slow down eating or stop eating. So this actually suppresses hunger. So if we can sell leptin in a pill, I'm pretty sure people would purchase that, because leptin is that hormone that lets you know that you need to slow down and then I'm done. So have you ever felt that way where you're eating and you know that the signals are going to the brain? It's there, it's time to stop eating. You're full, okay? But you just keep eating for several reasons. Maybe you are emotionally eating. You may even have a eating disorder, okay? And that's something that takes a special eating disorder dietitian. But do know that if you're a binge eater, for example, and you're not listening to the leptin signal, then you're going to keep eating this. And you have to understand there's an underlying reason why you're eating or why you excessively eat. So you have to listen to your body, okay? So some clients that I take care of who do binge eat, we do talk about mindfulness and we do talk about mindful eating, because it is at the center of what they're trying to achieve. Their goal may be to lose the 40 pounds, but at the same time, if there's binge eating, you think, oh, just stop binge eating. It's that simple, right? Absolutely not that simple. There's always an underlying issue, okay? Also, the hunger scale. So let's talk about that. That is quite important. When it comes to mindfulness and mindful eating, think about it. You have a scale from 1 to 10. 1 being, I am so hungry, I'm starving, I can eat my arm. 10 is, I am very full, I've eaten way too much. But what's in the middle? Middle is neutral. Middle is, I'm perfect, I've eaten just the right amount, I'm okay. And you may even be in that space for a few hours, 2 or 3 hours, okay? Once you get to the 4th, 5th hour, you start to feel, okay, I'm starting to go down the scale. I'm getting very hungry. But once you've eaten, sometimes you're just 1 spoon away from getting to an 8 or a 9 or a 10. I'm sure everyone has been there. You're eating your favorite food and, leptin has told you, okay, it's time to stop. You're around a 5 or even a 6. And you know that, okay, but I still have a whole piece of yam on my plate. This is my favorite, okay? I've been there. Everyone has been there, okay? And you just want to cut your fork into that and go ahead and continue to eat. For me, it's so sensitive. My leptin must be pretty high, because if I eat that one more piece, I go up to a 9 and I'm like, okay. Then I'll stop eating and then put the food away. So it's very important you listen to the signal. The signal is not incorrect, okay? And remember, mindful eating is not a diet. It's a lifestyle, okay? So it's if you're the type of person that likes lists and you like meal plans, then you may not understand that mindful eating is the best plan for you, but mindful eating is actually in the middle of every type of lifestyle change, if you think about it. So let's talk about the different senses. So there are 5 different senses, okay, as we all know: smell, sight, taste, sound, and feel. So I'm going to practice now. I was lucky enough to get 18 containers of strawberries from our neighbors. And so I've got to eat strawberries, okay? So this strawberry is great because It is colorful. A lot of food manufacturers understand this very well, but if you use the color red when you are marketing, you'll get more people to buy your food. This is one of the foods that manufacturers use to get you to come and try their food. There's a few colors that they use. Red is one. So when you see the strawberry, the first thing I'm noticing is the smell. I can't deny the smell. The smell feels, it's familiar. I've had a strawberry before. It smells like perfume. It smells really good. It smells sweet. It smells fruity. So of course, the second thing that comes to my mind, especially with strawberries, is this a bitter strawberry or is this a sweet strawberry? So I'm not sure. Maybe I'm having a little anxiety about eating the strawberry. I don't know. So next, I would smell it intentionally. And it smells pretty good. Okay, so the next thing I would do is go ahead and taste it. You're looking at it as you're tasting it, so sight is engaged. And then take a bite. You kind of want to suck on it and take a moment when you're first tasting the food and chewing the food. This strawberry is kind of sweet. It's not very sweet, but then again, it's not bitter. So it's actually pretty good. I can probably sit and eat about 12 of these. So that took me about 12 bites to swallow. When it's a softer food or like a smaller bite, you may not have to chew as much, but typically you should chew anywhere from 20 to 40 times each bite when you're eating a meal. Okay, this is just a snack though. And then I heard the sound. There was a little slight crunch when I was eating the strawberry, and then I felt it, and it was a good feeling. So this is something that I can see myself eating more and more of. I enjoyed it. It's inviting. It's fresh, even if the strawberry is not that sweet. It's something that I can eat a good amount of. So that's what you do when you mindfully eat. You sit down optimally at a dining table if you can. You're not always able to sit down at a dining when you eat. If you're out and about and you're busy, then you can still mindfully eat. Just take that 7 to 10 minutes to sit down and enjoy your meal. Eat it slowly and calmly. Studies reveal that when you're eating in a calm state, it aids in digestion. So take a deep breath in and out, relax, and then eat your food. If you're eating in a big group or a crowd, chances are it will be a little bit loud or rowdy. So you can still try to practice the mindful eating. Just do that by you can still take your deep breath. You can still put your mind in a meditative space, even if you're in a room full of loudness. It's still something you can do. So let's talk about meditative state and eating. So like I said, you take a deep breath in and out. If you feel comfortable and safe, you can close your eyes. It helps to kind of take you away from all of the anxieties of the day, and it helps to kind of calm you down when you close your eyes and breathe. Then you would go ahead and take your fork and just smell and look and engage all of your senses and take a bite. Make sure that your electronics are all turned off. So no phone, even though we're on a Zoom meeting now, but no phones, no televisions, no radio, nothing, just quiet. Try to keep a quiet room when you're eating with family and friends and things. If it's a party, then of course the environment may, need some music, but from your day to day, try to make it quiet and zen and relaxing. So appreciate the food, look at the food, start thinking about how you got the food. Think about, well, geez, these oranges are from California. How did it get to my plate? And I know this sounds very dramatic, but it helps you appreciate your food. It helps you understand that, wow, okay, this food that I'm eating, there was a lot that was put into this food so that I can get it. Somebody had to farm the food, maybe even from seed, grow it over several months, and then a truck driver drove it all the way to my state just so that I could to enjoy this food. So these are some of the things you do in your meditative state. You think about how grateful you are for the food. You pray over the food. You take a moment to just appreciate the person who prepared the food or even purchased the food. You know, when we go grocery shopping, we are actually starting this digestive process, because when you go to buy food, you're actually starting your digestive enzymes in your mouth, remember? So you go out to eat. That's why it's not good to go out to eat on an empty stomach, because if you run out, you go out to eat, then unfortunately, if you have a habit of doing that, you may end up with an ulcer, because the HCl and the acid production, when you don't have any food in your stomach, is going to creep up into your higher upper GI, and then unfortunately start to cause conditions like ulcers, and then it can even get worse from there. So you want to do everything you can to make sure that you're listening to your hunger cues. Now, people who are intermittent fasting, for example, you need to be careful about the hours that you're doing that. So when you wake up in the morning and you're running out of the door for work or for your different activities, then think about it. If you know you're running out and ghrelin is telling you, that hormone, that you need to go ahead and eat, then go ahead and grab a bite. It's okay. You've just fasted 8 hours from sleeping, and then maybe another 2 hours. So 10 hours, that's still considered intermittent fasting. So grab a few bites. Maybe that's all you need. Or go ahead and have a small snack if you're not really a big breakfast person. Many people don't really care for a hot, big breakfast. So just think about your body. Think about, if you're not even used to consuming a meal at that time of day, then eventually your body will let you know when it's time. So you may start off with plenty of water and then work your way into eating snacks, and then finally your first meal. So making sure that you're eating and chewing very well, like I said earlier, 20 to 40 times, and taking small bites is very important. Any questions at all about that kind of meditative states when you're mindfully eating?
I wish I could bring my baby for this class. She doesn't bite her food.
Oh, really? Wow.
No, she doesn't at
Why
all.
is that?
I don't know. She threw up like some days ago because she had
Oh, wow.
she was overfed, and I was shocked to see everything coming, and I'm like, hold on, is this from a plate or from your
Oh.
stomach?
Is
She
she
just
okay?
swallows everything. No, she's good. But what I'm
Okay.
trying to say is, like, I was shocked to see what she brought out, looking like it was from the plate
Oh, wow.
to the sink. I'm
Oh,
like, so
my
you don't bite your food? You know?
Yeah. So
No. So how do you get kids to bite their food?
I'm happy you asked me, because childhood is the perfect time to start teaching mindful eating. And everything that I just talked about, what you do is, with the children, it's time to eat dinner, right? Sit down at the dining table if you can. I know that that's difficult for some people to do, but studies reveal that children and adults do better in life when you've grown up with that in place. So sit down at the dining table with your family, your children, and you need to be the demonstrator of mindful eating. They're going to copy you. So take your fork and say, okay, everyone, we're going to eat in a peaceful manner. Everyone breathe in, and your kids will copy you. They'll just do what you do. Everyone do what I do, breathe in and out. Okay, let's say our prayer, say grace. And then after that, then you'll say, look at this food. Isn't it look great? Doesn't it look beautiful? And then everyone can chime in. If they don't think it looks so good, then they'll say, I don't know. Okay, well, how do you like the smell of the food? And they'll say, oh, I like the smell. Oh yeah. Have you had this before? Yes, mom, you always give this to us. Why are you asking us all these questions? I just answer the questions. And then you say, well, just copy mommy. And then you take the fork and then you just say, eat slowly. That way you can eat and feel full faster. And then you take the fork and then you take a spoon, let's say of rice, and then you say, oh, this is so good. Thank you, God, for this food. Chew it, and chew, and chew, and chew, and chew. They're gonna look at you like, why do we have to chew so long? Just say, because if you don't chew it very well, don't you know that it's not going to digest correctly in your stomach? You're gonna have a tummy ache. They'll say, oh, I don't want that. They're gonna chew it. Then you do it again. And then you even take your fork in the middle of the meal. They're gonna get very frustrated the first time you do this. And you set it down on the table. And then you just sit there and just say, thank you for this food. And then you pick up your fork and then you eat. You can even put your fork down in between every bite. That's how you mindfully eat. It's just slower eating, being grateful, listening to your body. And your body, if you have different types of food on your plate, your body will kind of guide you and say, oh, I need more of this. And you can, eat more of that, like the green leafy vegetables. If you're anemic, then maybe your body will get you to try to finish your green leafy vegetables. Like, okay, I like rice, the way it tastes and everything, it's good, but I think I've had enough of that. Let me finish my protein and my green leafies. So that's how you mindfully eat. It's just a matter of listening to yourself and making sure that you are not ignoring yourself. And it decreases your eating disorder risk. So if you are someone that is prone to binge eating, then it will decrease that for you if you can just take a second and relax and breathe and make sure that you are listening to your hunger cues. But yes, your kids this is the perfect time. It's the perfect time for her to practice mindful eating. Just letting her know that I went to class today and the dietitian said that you should be eating you should be chewing it 20 to 40 times every time you bite food.
For each bite or
Each
everything?
bite. Yes, each
Ooh.
bite. So if that's, if there's 20 bites, then you're chewing like over 400 times. Yeah. So, and that's just to help aid in the digestion. If it's a larger meal, that makes sense if you think about it. I mean, if you're chewing, let's say you're eating yam porridge and you take a big spoon of, a decent spoon of yam porridge and you're chewing it and chewing it. I mean, after some time, about 20 bites is about right. Now, if you're just eating this little fruit that I'm eating, it only took me maybe 10 bites to eat a tiny piece. And it was a very little piece, if you can see there. So that's how you mindfully eat. Any other questions? All right, well, today is the last day of the month. So next month, starting actually Wednesday, we will start our series for chronic disease. So if you know anyone who is overweight, obese, has diabetes, cardiovascular disease, or kidney disease, then go ahead and send them to class because it's going to be pretty rigorous, okay? There's going to be a lot of information in a short amount of time, and it's good because it's good. These classes are good for very busy people. Remember, if you have any family history of these diseases, then you should still come to class. And that's just due to the simple fact that if you can learn how to eat, for example, like someone that has type 2 diabetes, then chances are you would prevent diabetes, even if you've never been told you have pre-diabetes. So come to class so you can learn more about how to prevent nutrition related disease. And then go ahead and send your email. I already have your email, Rachel, but
Mhm.
if you know anyone that could benefit, feel free to share their emails. And of course, the chat box is good for just communicating with me. And thanks for your time. We
Thank you.
appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Please, if there's any way we can bring this to social media, I think I'll appreciate it even more.
Okay.
Because that one, I feel like that one you can reach a wider audience with this. Because trust me,
Okay.
I
okay.
cook, so I see a lot of people. Like, I'm not a dietitian, so like I said last time, I cannot. They might not listen to me because they know I'm not registered, right? But if they see you, or if they hear you, or if I share the link, they'll
Oh,
definitely
I
join.
agree. No, I
True.
agree. As a matter of fact, I was considering that, just kind of having my other electronics on social media as I
Mm.
record here. So that's a
Okay,
great.
but is there any way you can maybe in the next class do you know how to use Instagram Live?
Oh, absolutely. It's so easy.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, with that one, I feel like more people, because with that one, using the hashtags, a lot of people, trust me,